Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked in the mirror, and wondered where that spark of joy from your younger years went? Maybe life feels a little heavier these days, or the days blend together without much excitement. You're not alone. Many of us, as we get older, start to feel like happiness is slipping through our fingers, like it's something we used to have but can't quite grasp anymore. But what if I told you that happiness isn't something you lose with age? In fact, it's something you can cultivate, nurture, and even grow if you know the unspoken rules that most people overlook. That's what we're going to talk about today. The 3 unspoken rules of elderly happiness you never knew. Now, you might be thinking, I've heard all the advice before: stay active, eat well, keep social. And yes, those things matter. But today, we're digging deeper. We're talking about the quiet, often ignored habits and mindsets that truly happy seniors share, the ones that don't always make it into the usual advice columns. So, let's start with the first rule, one that might surprise you. When we were younger, happiness often came from big milestones: falling in love, landing a dream job, raising a family. But as we age, those big moments become fewer. And if we're not careful, we start waiting for happiness to come to us. We think, if only my kids visited more, or if only my health were better. But here's the truth. Happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something you choose every single day. The happiest seniors I know don't wait for perfect circumstances. They find joy in small, deliberate moments. Take my friend Margaret, for example. At 78, she lives alone, and her arthritis makes some things difficult. But every morning, she does one thing just for herself, whether it's savoring a cup of tea on her porch, listening to her favorite song, or writing a short note to a friend. She doesn't wait for someone else to make her happy. She creates it. So, how can you do this? Start small. Tomorrow morning, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today just because it brings me joy? It doesn't have to be grand. Maybe it's flipping through an old photo album, planting a flower, or calling someone who makes you laugh. The key is to stop waiting and start doing. This one might sting a little, but stick with me. For many of us, a big part of our identity was being the caregiver, the one who fixed problems, raised kids, managed households. But as life changes, our roles shift. Kids grow up, careers wind down, and suddenly we might feel unnecessary. But here's the secret. Happiness in our later years isn't about being needed. It's about being valued. And that starts with valuing yourself. Think about it. When you were younger, did you ever do something just because you loved it, not because someone else expected it? Maybe it was painting, gardening, or even just sitting quietly with a good book. Now is the time to reconnect with those things. My neighbor Frank spent his whole life working hard to provide for his family. When he retired, he felt lost, like he didn't have a purpose anymore. But then he started volunteering at the local library, reading to kids once a week. He wasn't doing it because someone needed him to. He was doing it because it made him happy. And that shift from I have to be useful to I get to enjoy this changed everything. So ask yourself, what did I once love that I've set aside? Maybe it's time to pick it up again. Not for anyone else, but for you. Now, these first 2 rules are powerful, but there's one more that ties everything together. And it's the one that most people resist without even realizing it. But we'll get to that soon. For now, I'd love to hear, have you ever caught yourself waiting for happiness to come to you? Or have you felt that shift from being needed to finding joy just for yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if this resonates with you, stay tuned, because the 3rd rule, it might just change the way you see every day ahead. You know, it's funny, we spend so much of our lives chasing after things we think will make us happy: success, money, approval from others. But as the years go by, we start to realize that the things that truly bring us joy are often much simpler. And that brings us to the 3rd unspoken rule of elderly happiness, one that might feel a little uncomfortable at first. But I promise, It's life-changing. How many times have you caught yourself saying things like, "Oh, don't worry about me," or "I don't want to be a bother"? Maybe you've even turned down an invitation or kept quiet about something you wanted because you didn't want to inconvenience anyone. Here's the hard truth. When we constantly shrink ourselves to make others comfortable, we teach the world, and worse, ourselves, that our happiness doesn't matter. But you deserve to take up space. You deserve to speak up, to ask for what you need, and to enjoy your life without guilt. Take my friend Helen, for example. For years, she avoided asking her family for help with errands because she didn't want to burden them. But one day, her granddaughter said, "Grandma, I love driving you to the garden center. It's our time together." Helen realized something profound. What she saw as an inconvenience was actually a chance for connection. So how can you apply this? Start small. The next time someone asks, "What do you want to do?" Don't default to, "Oh, whatever you want." Try saying, "I'd really love to," and see what happens. You might be surprised at how willing people are to meet you halfway. Now let's pause for a moment and look at how these 3 rules work together. 1. Stop waiting for happiness to find you. Actively create joy in your daily life. 2. Let go of the need to be needed. Find value in simply being, not just doing. 3. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Your desires and needs matter just as much as anyone else's. When you start living by these rules, something shifts. You stop feeling like life is happening to you and start feeling like you're steering it again. But I want to share one last thing, a bonus insight that ties everything together. When we're young, happiness is often loud. Big achievements, celebrations, milestones. But as we age, happiness becomes quieter. It's in the warmth of sunlight through the window, the sound of a familiar voice on the phone, the satisfaction of a slow, well-lived day. The happiest seniors I know don't measure their joy by grand events. They find it in moments. A grandchild's laughter, the first sip of coffee in the morning, a handwritten letter from an old friend. Happiness isn't about having a perfect life. It's about noticing the good that's already there. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Tonight, before bed, ask yourself, what's one small thing that brought me joy today? Maybe it was a bird outside your window, a memory that made you smile, or even just the comfort of your favorite chair. Train yourself to spot these moments, and I promise, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Getting older isn't about losing the happiness of youth. It's about discovering a new kind of happiness, one that's deeper, quieter, and more resilient than ever. So from now on, don't wait for joy. Create it. Don't tie your worth to being needed. Find it in simply being. And never, ever apologize for taking up space in this world. You've earned your place here. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What's one small joy you've noticed recently? Let's inspire each other. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content to help you live your happiest, healthiest life at any age. Here's to your happiness today and every day ahead.